Right now, somewhere within arm's reach, there is probably something sweet. A snack, a drink, a wrapper you keep meaning to throw away. You can buy 2,000 calories of sugar and fat for a couple of dollars on almost any corner, at almost any hour, and you don't think twice about it. But for more than 2 million years, the creature whose body you were wearing could go days without a single bite of anything this rich. Sugar was a rare accident. Fat was a jackpot. For roughly 99% of human history, craving them wasn't a weakness. It was the single smartest thing your brain could do. So why does that same craving feel like it's breaking you today? The answer says more about who you are than any diet ever will. Here is the story we usually tell ourselves. We think the problem is willpower. You know, the salad is the smart choice. You reach for the fries anyway, and afterward you feel a small, familiar shame, as if you failed a test that disciplined people pass. The whole modern world is built on this assumption. An entire industry sells you the fix. The meal plan, the app that counts every bite, the supplement that promises to switch the craving off. And if you just wanted it badly enough, the thinking goes, you could think your way out of it. But there is a problem with that picture. The craving you are fighting is older than willpower. It is older than language, older than fire, older than our species. It was tuned, gene by gene, over a stretch of time so long the human mind can't really hold it. To understand why you reach for the sweet thing, you have to go back to a world where reaching for it was the difference between living and dying. For almost the entire story of our ancestors, food was not a choice. It was a problem to be solved every single day, with no guarantee of success. A hunt could fail. A patch of plants could be stripped bare by the time you arrived. The body that survived was the body that could find energy, grab it fast, and store whatever it didn't burn. And not all food is equal. A gram of fat carries more than twice the energy of a gram of protein or a gram of carbohydrate. Ripe fruit means sugar your body can turn into fuel within minutes. In a hungry world, sweet and fat were not indulgences. They were the richest, most valuable signals on the entire landscape. So evolution did something clever. It wired those signals straight into the brain's reward system. When an ancestor bit into honey or fatty marrow, a small surge of dopamine told the brain plainly, do that again. Remember exactly where you found it. This is why a newborn human, only minutes old, will calm and suck harder at the taste of sugar water, and grimace and pull away from anything bitter. Bitter often meant poison. Sweet almost always meant safe energy. None of this was ever a decision. The preference is built in, the same way a fear of falling is built in. Because for 10,000 generations, the humans who chased sweetness and fat outlived the ones who shrugged at them. Your sweet tooth is not a flaw in the design. It is the design. You can still watch this ancient logic play out today. In northern Tanzania lived the Hadza, one of the last peoples on Earth who hunt and gather much of their own food. When researchers like the anthropologist Frank Marlowe spent years among them, they found that honey is the single most prized food in the entire camp. Men will climb tall, dangerous trees and follow a wild bird, the honeyguide, deep into the bush just to find a hive. Pure sugar sits at the very top of everything people want. That is not a sweet tooth gone wrong. That is a clear window into what every human camp once valued most. And there was a second pressure, just as old. For most of history, abundance never lasted. The fruit ripened for a few weeks and then it was gone. A successful hunt fed everyone for a day or two, and then the lean time returned. So the smart body, handed a brief flood of calories, did the obvious thing. It ate all it could and stored the surplus as fat to survive the hunger that was surely coming. In 1962, the geneticist James Neal gave this idea a name, the thrifty gene. The bodies that hoarded energy in the good times were the ones that lived through the bad ones. Feast while you can, store everything. Never trust that the food will still be there tomorrow. For 2 million years, that instinct was almost never wrong. And then, in what amounts to a blink, the world it was built for disappeared. About 10,000 years ago, humans began to farm, and for the first time, calories could be stored in a granary instead of on the body. But the real rupture came much closer to now. In the last 200 years, a single eye blink against 2 million, we learned to refine pure sugar out of cane and beet, to press and harden cheap oil, to ship and preserve and stack it on every shelf within reach. The rarest jackpot on the ancient landscape became the cheapest thing in the building. The honey our ancestors risked their lives for now comes in a plastic bear for pocket change. And nothing about your body got the message. The brain that learned to chase sweetness across a savanna is the exact same brain you carry into a grocery store, where 10,000 products have been carefully engineered to press the buttons that once kept your ancestors alive. This is what scientists mean when they call modern eating an evolutionary mismatch, an instinct perfectly tuned for one world, set loose in another. And the modern world doesn't just offer sweetness and fat, it manufactures them together in combinations that almost never occur in nature. Pure fat is rare in the wild. Pure sugar is rare. The two of them in a single bite, a donut, a chip, a spoon of ice cream, is a signal so loud your reward system has no defense against it because it never once had to evolve one. In 2019, a researcher named Kevin Hall ran a careful experiment at the National Institutes of Health. He gave people all the food they wanted, half of them on whole foods, half on ultra-processed food matched for sugar, fat, and salt. On the processed food, people ate about 500 extra calories a day, without choosing to, without even noticing. Their ancient wiring was simply doing its job in a place built to exploit it. So the next time you feel that pull toward the sweet thing, and you brace for the usual shame, consider another reading. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are a brilliant survival machine running flawless software in a world it was never written for. For almost all of human history, wanting the sweet thing kept you alive. The craving and the world it lived in were a perfect match, and you never once had to think about either one. We didn't lose the instinct, we just built a world it can no longer read. We traded scarcity for abundance, effort for convenience, the rare jackpot for the endless shelf, and we kept the same ancient hunger that was only ever meant for a harder world. So the pull you feel tonight is not a personal failing. It is a message 2 million years old from every ancestor who survived because they could not say no to sweetness. They were right to crave it. The only thing that ever changed is everything around it. And now, when you reach for it, at least you know who is really doing the reaching.